What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Now, as requested, we are going to be showcasing some more Battlefield 1 gameplay. Yes, I went ahead and streamed this game, so I got tons of extra footage to go ahead and put in the background whenever we go ahead and do any Battlefield topics, because as we all know, when it comes to 2042, I'd rather spend my time in any other game out there. But today we're going to be going ahead and talking about, well, something regarding Battlefield 2042 and also just the future of the franchise. I think a lot of people have been hearing this statement for a long time now. Ever since, the whole pandemic hit, one of the main things and main excuses as well for a lot of these games being released in such horrible forms was the developers being forced to work at home. Now, of course, me personally, I don't know if this is truly a challenge or not. To be able to design a game at home compared to, being in the office, I don't know how much of a difference it truly gives. Because for me personally, throughout the whole pandemic with, the work that I was in, I had to go to work every single day. So it wasn't really an issue for me. So it's hard to go ahead and talk about this topic since I've never really been in a situation like that to, relate to. But I think a lot of people are a little tired of hearing this excuse when it comes to video games. Especially nowadays when you see other titles releasing that have been made in a pandemic along with the employees having to work at home. We have seen multiple games being released that are fantastic. Some of the best games we have ever seen in an extremely long time. I'm talking about maybe even 10 plus years. We're getting all-time bangers right now. And these employees all had to work at home and communicate with each other, long distance. But regardless, at the end of the day, we can accuse them of faking it as much as we want. It's still a valid statement that they're able to use. But finally, over on Twitter, Battlefield Bulletin put this tweet out saying, after 2 years working from home, EA DICE devs are finally heading back to the office. So, in my personal opinion right here, this is fantastic news. Because the developers, since they're struggling so bad at home and they can't, communicate with one another and actually put together a competent game, they can finally be in the office space and be able to work together. Now, that's not all sarcasm. It's a little sarcasm, but it's not all sarcasm because we have to understand a lot of the people who are working on Battlefield 2042 are brand new developers. They are fresh-picked individuals, and all of the OGs have pretty much left the studio. So it's kind of hard coming in and having to not have any individuals back you up. I've said this example in the past, but every time I got introduced into a brand new job, it was always nice to be able to have experienced people behind me that can ask questions or be able to be around so I can get direct help from that individual. I'm a little bit better hands-on and I need someone to show me how to do something like that. And it's the same thing with game development, at least for me as well. It would be nice to be able to see someone, have someone step me through it right in front of my face, then having to, call them over a call and have them, try to hop onto your computer screen and then do it. And it's a whole different experience. I can understand that. So to be honest, this is pretty good news because now all these developers who are new to the Battlefield franchise might be able to get a little bit more hands-on and a better understanding of the engine as well, being in a group environment. And I do understand that DICE returning to the office does not mean anything better for Battlefield 2042. So if you're one of those individuals who think, oh my god, this is, massive news, finally we're going to see an improvement to Battlefield 2042, no. The majority of the people who are working on that title are already moving on to the next. They're not even thinking about Battlefield 2042 right now. So more than likely, this will do nothing for the current game. Battlefield 2042 is sadly going to fall into a really bad fate, I think. I don't really see too much coming to it. But there are people who enjoy the game, so do expect content drops and things like that coming into the title. But since it failed so quickly, the population just absolutely burned. It was like a wildfire. Nobody is playing this game anymore. Over 97% of the population on the Steam charts have absolutely quit the game altogether. That's not including Origins and also console players as well. There's a lot of people who've just pretty much completely given up. It's done for. So don't expect too many changes to this game, but do expect this right here, this information about DICE coming back to the studio, to affect the future of this franchise. This is really it right now. They have no more excuses whatsoever. Whatever they do from this point on is going to be 110% on them. And this doesn't mean they're going to have a second chance. Me included, well, obviously I'm going to have to pick up the next Battlefield game because that's what my whole channel is about. I review things, I talk about things, I discuss things. That's what we do here. But I will not pump this game up to any way, shape, or form. If there's good news, there's good news. But I will never in a million years tell someone to pre-order the next Battlefield title, let alone buy the next Battlefield title at launch. Wait until you see people play it, wait for reviews, and then go ahead and pull the trigger. Do not waste your money on any game, not just Battlefield, on any game. Pre-orders need to stop. But that doesn't mean I'm not curious about the next title. You know, I could be curious without supporting what they just did to us with Battlefield 2042. You know, just wanting to see a trailer or even see gameplay of the next game, coming into the franchise does not mean I'm supporting them. You know, a view doesn't equal my $60 out of my pocket. I'm just very intrigued right now to see how EA will handle this franchise. They have gotten a lot of backlash in the previous titles, cough, cough, Battlefield 5, but they have never, ever gotten as much backlash as they did with 2042. This, honestly, I think out of any game I've seen in the recent years, this is the most backlash I've seen anyone give a company. Even more than Call of Duty. I mean, Call of Duty has been going through it for years, but Battlefield 2042 was truly a massive dumpster fire for the whole DICE development team and also EA as well, to the point where they don't even want to talk about Battlefield 2042 in any of their earnings calls. They are more than likely going to do something different here, and regardless if it's a good different or another bad different, because they did something different with 2042, and guess what? It was bad, so it could be another bad different, but regardless, I want to see what step they take, because a lot of the development teams have been hyping up this game altogether. Especially Marcus, one of the developers who made the Halo universe, he has been really going hard to let people know that his opinions on a more gritty, hardcore, realistic Battlefield experience is definitely on his agenda. And people always say, oh, he's just going to be working on campaign, he's just going to be working on the universe, but that's what creates the game. That's what we're going to be playing based off. Could you imagine if they actually took a more hardcore, gritty Battlefield 1 style on 2042, more than half of the people would have a different opinion on it. It wouldn't be all loved because it's still buggy, it's still glitchy, and it still has this, Apex-y Call of Duty vibe to the movement and gunplay still. But the atmosphere of the game is a major trigger alert for many people. Nobody liked the goofy, cartoony-styled specialist theme that they pushed on everybody. Nobody enjoyed it. That was one of the biggest downfalls of the Battlefield franchise. So, who knows, man? If they go ahead and fix that up and actually change the atmosphere of the next game, along with seeing that the developers are finally going back to the studio, they're no longer going to be having to work at home, and they're going to have hands-on with some of the more experienced developers, this is the last chance that I think DICE is going to have at truly pushing out a Battlefield game and keeping the hardcore fan base connected. Battlefield as a name is never going to die. The name is way too well known. It's just like Call of Duty. Call of Duty is way too well known, but just because they're known titles doesn't mean the core audience, their hardcore fan base, is going to hang on and keep playing. They'll leave. They'll eventually go play something else. It's happening to Call of Duty, and the same thing is happening to Battlefield now. Tons of people are either going back and playing older titles like Battlefield 5 or Battlefield 4, or they're completely ditching the game and going to play mill sims like Hell Let Loose or other BRs like Hunt Showdown, or playing games like Escape from Tarkov, or Warzone is a popular one. A lot of Battlefield, YouTubers are switching over to Warzone constantly, along with Apex Legends. Nobody is staying. Nobody is staying. So you can have a popular title and you can go ahead and chase trends and you can get your quick buck off of having, a good name connected with a trend, and people, obviously hype it up for a little bit. You could do that all you want, but us, your community, will be gone. And I feel like it's going to hit the developers more, but won't really hit the top dogs, EA. But the developers will feel it because there are some passionate players there, and they love the game just as much as we do, and they're probably not going to be happy as well. It's just going to be a horrible downward spiral for the whole franchise, and it's something that I do not want to see. But ladies and gentlemen, do me a massive favor and go down in the comment section and let me know your opinions down below. Do you think the developers coming back to the actual office space is going to do much for the Battlefield franchise in the future, or do you think it's just going to do absolutely nothing? I personally am curious because I think this will showcase if this is a legitimate excuse. Because if DICE comes back and they're in the office and they have all this time to go ahead and develop another game and it turns out to be trash again, then obviously this excuse cannot be transferred to any other game, because we've already seen every other game out there, especially Elden Ring, another fantastic example of a game that was made during a pandemic, release with absolutely no problem. So I truly am excited to see this, so we can start calling out other development teams who are using this excuse as well, and putting them to shame, honestly, and making them put out well put together games. But ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for tuning in this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like. Bums, I hate it, leave a dislike. Also, if you're brand new and enjoyed the content, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification button. Also, if you want to chat with me, there's two ways to do so. I have Twitter and Discord, both linked down in the description. And also, if you want to catch me live streams of video games, do it over on Twitch. Link that is in the description as well. But guys, thanks so much for tuning in. See you on the next one. Peace out.